Alright, today we're going to be dividing decimals by decimals. This is 2 pages, so we are on page 27 and 28. And our title on page 27 is going to be dividing decimals by decimals. Alright, so the steps are to set up standard long division as normal. Remember, the first number you see goes inside the box. So for us, our problem is 23 4/100 divided by 9 tenths. The first number I see goes inside my box. So 23 4/100 and 9 tenths. That is step 1, to set up standard long division. Step number 2 is to move the decimal on the outside. To make it a whole number. So I'm going to move. I'm going to rewrite my problem. And I want to move my decimal to make this number on the outside a whole number. Step 3 is to move the decimal on the inside the same amount of times you move the divisor. Okay, so now we have 9 on the outside. We've still got 23 4/100 on the inside, but since up here we moved our decimal once, we're going to move our decimal in the same direction as we did before, one time. So our decimal now goes between our 0 and 4. Now we have a standard dividing a decimal by a whole number. So 9 goes on the outside. On the inside is 230 4/10. Take your decimal straight up to the top. Then use long division to solve. Okay, so 9 cannot go into 2. 9 can go into 23 2 times. 2 times 9 is 18. 23 minus 18 is 5. Bring down your 0. 9 goes into 50 5 times. 5 times 9 is 45. 50 minus 45 is 5. Bring down your 4. 9 goes into 54 6 times. 6 times 9 is 54. Subtract that and we get 0. So our answer is 25 6/10. Okay, let's try a few more. We'll do them a little bit faster now that we know our steps. The first number I see goes inside my box. So that's 1 323 thousandths on the inside and 35 hundredths on the outside. I'm going to move my decimal twice. 1, 2, to make my outside number a whole number. What I do on the outside, I have to do on the inside. So now my decimal goes between 2 and 3. Take your decimal straight up. $35 cannot go into 1. 35 cannot go into 13. But 35 can go into 132 3 times. 3 times 35. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. 2 minus 5 we can't do, so we're going to make that a 12 and make 3 a 2. 12 minus 5 is 7. 2 minus 0 is 2. Bring down your 3. 35 goes into 273 7 times. 7 times 35 is 245. So when we subtract, make 3 a 13, make 7 a 6. 13 minus 5 is 8. 6 minus 4 is 2. We cannot have a remainder, so we're going to add a 0, extend our house a little bit, excuse me, bring down our 0. 35 goes into 288 times. 8 times 35 is 280. Subtract that, and we have 0. So our answer is 3 78 hundredths. All right, let's try another one. We have 7 5/10 divided by 25 thousandths. So the first number I see goes inside my box. 7 5/10. And we've got 0.025. Now, I'm going to move my decimal 1, 2, 3 times. I also have to move my inside decimal 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Now, I don't have any numbers right there, so I'm going to have to add in my placeholders, which are zeros. Now, take your decimal straight up. 25 goes into 7 0 times, goes into 75 3 times. 3 times 25 is 75. Subtract that, we get 0. Bring down a 0. 25 goes into 0 0 times. 0 times 25 is 0. That gives me 0. Bring down my last 0. And same thing. 25 goes into 0 0 times. 0 times 25 is 0. Subtract that, we get 0. So our answer is 300. Moving on to our word problems. Tyler spent $5.28 on apples. He bought 1.2 pounds of apples. How much did each pound cost? Okay, so we know how much he spent and we know how much he bought, but we want to know how much is each pound. So we want to divide $5.28 by 1.2. So we're going to put 5.28 inside our box and 1.2 on the outside of our box. Then we have to move our decimal. What we do to the outside, we have to do to the inside. Take your decimal straight up. 12 cannot go into 5. 12 can go into 52 4 times. 4 times 12 is 48. Subtract that. 52 minus 48 is 4. Bring down your 8. 12 can go into 48 4 times. 4 times 12 is 48. Subtract that and we get 0. So to us it looks like our answer is 4.4. But it says how much did each pound cost? So I know that this means our answer needs to be in the form of money. Money always has 2 numbers behind its decimal, so we would have to add a placeholder of 0. So our answer is $4.40. Next problem. A member of the school track team ran for a total of 179.3 miles in practice over 61.5 days. About how many miles did he average per day? Okay, so here's his total, and here's how many days it took him. So we're going to divide 179.3 by 61.5. Now again, I've got to make this my whole number. So make this my whole number. Well, I don't have to make that a whole number, but it did make it a whole number. Take your decimal straight up. Okay. So if I have 615 and I want to know how many times can it go into 1? 0. How many times can it go into 17? 0. 179. 0. But it can go into 1,793 2 times. 2 times 615. See, 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. 2 times 6 is 12. Subtract that. 3 minus 0 is 3. 9 minus 3 is 6. 7 minus 2 is 5. Add a 0. Bring it down. 615 can go into 5,630 9 times. I'm going to extend our house a little bit. 9 times 615 is 5,535. Subtract that, make that a 10, make this a 2, that gives me 5, borrow again, that makes that a 9, bring down your 0, $615 can go into 950 one time. 1 times 615 is 615. Subtract that. We get 335. And we are running out of room. So I'm going to stop us right here. Because it says about how many miles did he average per day. This word about tells me that I could round. So if I'm going to round, let's just go ahead, since we've got it to the hundredths place, round to the nearest tenths, because that's what we need. We need our hundredths to round to our tenths. So that 1 tells me to leave the 9 at 9. So our answer is going to be about 2.9 miles per day. And that's it.